Have you ever found yourself just really yearning for something to change? Maybe feeling stuck in a tricky situation or just wrestling with this sort of unease that won't seem to go away.
Oh, absolutely. We've all been there, waiting for that external shift, right? Hoping for the new job or for things to just fall into place differently.
Exactly, or wishing someone else would finally see things our way. But what if? What if the real power, the profound ability to transform your whole experience isn't about changing those outside things at all?
What if it lies instead in shifting your gaze inward?
Precisely. Welcome, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today we are diving into something pretty ambitious. We're calling it the architecture of inner mastery. Lessons from September 14th.
And this isn't just, a few nice quotes strung together.
Oh, no, not at all. What we've stumbled upon here is, honestly, a truly profound interconnected blueprint for human flourishing. And it's meticulously drawn from this incredible stack of sources you shared with us.
It's fascinating stuff. We've got wisdom stretching across centuries, across cultures.
We really do. We've curated insights from ancient Stoic philosophers, think Marcus Aurelius, Socrates people, championing self-control, virtue.
Right, the foundations.
Then jump forward to the sheer energy of modern entrepreneurs, Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, who are all about action, impact, making things happen.
A very different vibe, but still connected.
Totally. And then we've also drawn from, the deep spiritual teachers like Leo Tolstoy, Buddhist sages, emphasizing peace, connection.
And finding that inner stillness.
And even, which I love, the really practical, sometimes downright funny advice from people like Mark Twain and Phyllis Diller.
It's an amazing mix.
It is. It's this rich tapestry of thought, all converging around September 14th, day 257 of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And what's truly remarkable, isn't it, is how these incredibly diverse voices, they end up revealing these remarkably similar, coherent insights about what it means to truly thrive.
It really is striking to see individuals separated by, millennia and completely different worlds arriving at such consistent conclusions about human well-being. This convergence, it can't just be coincidence, right? It strongly suggests there are universal truths about how we can best navigate our inner lives and, consequently, our outer worlds, too.
It's like finding the same physics principles in different buildings around the world.
Exactly. Different aesthetics, maybe different styles, but the same underlying laws of stability, of what makes something strong and enduring.
That's a great analogy. So to build this structure, this architecture of inner mastery, we've got to start at the bedrock, right? The foundation.
Absolutely. Where do we begin?
Let's unpack the first big pillar, shifting our gaze inward. This core idea, it's all about understanding and really taking charge of what's truly within our power.
Which is?
Our internal responses, our thoughts, our choices, rather than getting fixated on all those external circumstances that, let's be honest, we often just cannot control no matter how hard we wish.
Right, wasting energy on the uncontrollable.
And leading the charge here in our source material is Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, the Stoic philosopher. And he offers something I think is just incredibly radical, almost subversive.
Oh, what's that?
He calls it a different way to pray. He literally advises us to try praying differently. Just try it, and then simply observe the profound shift that happens inside you.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Praying differently how?
Well, instead of asking for external changes,
Yeah.
Please make this situation go away, or please grant me this thing, he suggests we pray for internal transformation.
Ah, okay, so focusing the request inward.
Exactly. And the source gives these really stark, almost provocative examples. They're designed to hit hard. Like, instead of asking for a way to sleep with her, try asking for a way to stop desiring to sleep with her.
Oh, that's direct.
Isn't it? And another one. Instead of praying for a way to not lose my child, which is about controlling an external outcome, try asking for a way to lose my fear of it, focusing on the internal state.
That really cuts to the core, doesn't it? Because it goes against our deepest instincts, our usual patterns of wishing and hoping.
Completely. So much of our typical praying or wishing is about asking for things outside ourselves to change.
Yeah, what's truly revolutionary about Aurelius's approach here is how it challenges our very definition of what prayer or desire even is. Usually when we pray, or even just make a wish, it often boils down to an appeal. Right? An appeal to external forces, maybe fate, luck, God, the universe, whatever, to alter our circumstances.
Right. Make this better for me.
Exactly. Remove this obstacle, grant me this external thing, give me relief from this outside pressure.
Mm.
The Source calls these nakedly selfish requests, and not necessarily in a bad way, like judging it, but just honestly assessing where our focus usually lands on the self wanting external change.
Okay, so Aurelius flips that script.
He completely flips it. But crucially, he's not suggesting, some kind of cynical denial of our feelings. He's not saying just suck it up or be totally apathetic to what happens outside.
That's an important distinction. It's not about suppressing emotion.
No, not at all. Rather, he's urging this fundamental reorientation of where we direct our energy and attention. Instead of seeking that external fix, we're invited, maybe even challenged, to cultivate internal fortitude, strength, clarity, focusing on what we truly control.
Which are our judgments.
Our impulses.
Exactly. Our judgments about things, our impulses to act, our desires themselves. He's saying that's the realm we can actually work on. This isn't just philosophical wordplay like, oh, isn't that clever?
Yeah.
It's a deep psychological exercise.
So.
It's about recognizing that the power to face challenges, the clarity to make wise choices, the inner peace to accept outcomes that are genuinely beyond our direct influence. These aren't things we need to get from somewhere else. They're capabilities we already possess internally.
Wow. Latent abilities, maybe?
Sort of, yeah. Waiting to be accessed, to strengthened. It's a radical shift in where we look for power.
So, okay, if we translate this Stoic insight into our daily lives,
Yeah.
it really forms the absolute bedrock for this idea of inner mastery. It has to, right?
Think about it. When we finally stop that fruitless struggle, trying to control the uncontrollable, the weather messing up our plans, other people acting in ways that drive us crazy, even just random chance throwing a curveball.
All that stuff we pour energy into trying to change.
Exactly. And instead, we choose to focus intensely, really deliberately, on our own thoughts, our own responses, our own choices. What happens then?
Well, something remarkable, according to Aurelius.
Right. We start to realize that, in a way, many of our prayers have already been answered. We already have that inner strength, that resilience, that fortitude we've been desperately seeking from outside sources all along.
It's like finding the key you were frantically searching for was in your pocket the whole time.
Yes, exactly that feeling. And to bring this home with maybe a simpler lens, let's look at that young hero section in the source material. It gives great examples.
Okay.
Instead of wishing your annoying sibling would just magically stop being annoying, which, let's face it, is completely outside your control.
Good luck with that one.
Right. You could instead focus your energy, your wish, on wanting to stop getting so upset about it, focusing on your reaction.
Controlling the controllable part of the equation.
Or imagine a rainy day cancels your outdoor plans. Instead of spending the day fuming and wishing the rain away again, totally futile, you could wish for the creativity, the internal resourcefulness, to find a way to have fun despite the rain, even indoors.
The external situation, the sibling, the rain stays exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
But your internal experience, totally transformed by that simple but profound shift in focus.
It's a perfect illustration, isn't it? How this ancient wisdom is still just incredibly relevant, incredibly practical.
It really is.
And this reorientation of focus, this idea of choosing where you place your attention, it's echoed beautifully in the modern era by someone like Tony Robbins. He poses this really powerful, almost confrontational question.
Which one?
He asks, what's wrong with the world is always available? What's right with the world is also always available. What are you going to choose?
Oof. Yeah, that lands. And here's where it gets really insightful, I think. Robbins isn't saying, ignore the problems, pretend injustice doesn't exist.
No, that would be naive.
Right. He's saying the world itself, objectively, doesn't fundamentally change between those two observations. Both the difficulties, the wrong, the positives, the right, they exist simultaneously, side by side, all the time.
They're both available for viewing.
Always available. What changes, and this is the crucial part, the part entirely within our control, is our focus, our choice. Where do we decide to direct our attention, our energy, our perception?
And that choice of focus, as the source emphasizes, represents that first vital pillar of inner mastery. It's not passive.
No, it's an active, conscious decision we have to make, really moment by moment.
That point is so critical because I think many people perceive reality as this fixed external thing that just happens to them. It just impinges on them.
Like we're just victims of circumstance.
Exactly. But Robbins, and he's drawing on these deeper currents of thought we're talking about, he highlights that our experience of reality, how we actually feel it and live it, is heavily shaped by what we choose to perceive, what we choose to amplify, what we choose to internalize.
So the outside world presents stuff.
Right. The external environment might present both challenges and opportunities, absolutely. But our internal landscape, our emotional state, our outlook, and critically, our subsequent actions, they are dramatically altered by that conscious choice of focus. It's not a passive reception of circumstances, it's an active construction of our lived experience.
It's just like that analogy from the source, the one about the school cafeteria. It's perfect.
Remind me.
You can walk into that noisy, maybe slightly grimy cafeteria and immediately zoom in on the gross mashed potatoes, the clatter, the crowd.
And your experience is likely misery.
Total misery, right? Discomfort, annoyance, OR. You can consciously choose to focus on the fact that you're sitting with your friends, you're having funny conversations, you're making the best of it, you're connecting.
The cafeteria itself is the exact same place. Same food, same noise level.
Identical. But your chosen focus completely changes your experience of being there. It hammers home that the power isn't in magically altering the cafeteria, but in choosing your lens, your focus.
A powerful, practical tool.
Definitely. And then, on a slightly different note, but still about seeing clearly, we have Henry Gave It Thoreau. He offers this statement that can initially sound quite paradoxical, maybe even a bit unsettling.
Okay.
He says, our life would become wonderful if we could see all the disgusting things which exist in it.
Right, and it's natural to have that initial, almost visceral reaction like, wait, what? How can acknowledging yucky stuff, as the source charmingly puts it, possibly make life wonderful?
It seems totally counterintuitive,
Yeah.
maybe even like masochistic or something.
But Thoreau isn't pushing for negativity here. He's not saying we should become cynical or just wallow in problems.
So what does he say?
He's pointing towards the profound, liberating power that comes from honest acknowledgement. Think about how much energy many of us spend pretending problems don't exist or actively avoiding uncomfortable truths.
Yeah, sweeping things under the rug.
Exactly. And we don't realize that this very avoidance traps us. It keeps us stuck in this cycle of maybe subtle anxiety and, crucially, inaction.
Because you can't fix what you won't admit is broken.
Precisely. When we cultivate the courage, the willingness to clearly and honestly acknowledge the problems, the disgusting things, the uncomfortable truths, and here's the key part. Without immediately rushing to judgment or blame or some reactive panic solution, that's when we truly empower ourselves.
Okay, so seeing it clearly is the first step to dealing with it effectively.
It has to be. It's about clear-eyed realism, a kind of radical honesty, not pessimism. It's the essential first step towards any meaningful transformation because you can only genuinely change or navigate something you are willing to truly see and accept as real.
Ignoring a problem doesn't make it go away.
Never. It just diminishes your capacity to deal with it effectively.
It's like trying to navigate a dark room, isn't it? You keep bumping into furniture, stubbing your toe, getting frustrated.
Right.
But if you bravely turn on the light...
Even if it reveals a total mess.
Right. Even if it reveals a mess, suddenly you can see the obstacles. You know what you're dealing with. You can then start to clean it up, organize it, and maybe, crucially, find that favorite toy you lost under the pile.
The act of truly seeing enables the act of doing.
Yes. So this whole foundational shift inward, focusing on what we control, actively choosing our perspective and seeing reality clearly, even the unpleasant parts. Without avoidance, this isn't about withdrawing from the world. It's not about becoming a hermit.
Quite the opposite, actually.
It's the opposite. It's about preparing ourselves to engage more effectively, more powerfully, and, as we'll see, more collaboratively with the world around us. It fundamentally transforms our relationship with reality itself.
Which leads us perfectly into the next stage of this architecture.
It does. This brings us beautifully to our second section, which really acts as the bridge from self to service.
Okay, bridging from internal work to external action.
Exactly. And the core concept here is that true inner mastery, paradoxically perhaps, doesn't make you isolated or self-absorbed. It actually leads quite naturally to more impactful, more collaborative engagement with other people.
How so?
By recognizing that lasting change, genuine influence, and actually true fulfillment often come through service and contribution rather than through sheer force or purely selfish ambition.
Interesting. So internal strength fuels external contribution.
That's the idea, and our sources illustrate this so well. Take Horace Ween's incredibly simple yet profound piece of soccer wisdom.
Ah, yes, the soccer analogy.
He observes, a goal makes one person happy, an assist. 2.
It seems so straightforward, doesn't it? But when you really unpack that sporting insight, it reveals this powerful multiplier effect. It shows what happens when we shift our thinking, even just slightly, from purely self-centered goals, scoring the goal myself, to a more collaborative, service-oriented mindset, setting someone else up to score,
Making the assist.
making the assist. And it ties in perfectly with Marcus Aurelius's advice earlier about reframing our desires, remember?
Moving beyond the nakedly selfish.
Exactly. When we move beyond solely selfish desires, whether it's for a personal award, an individual promotion, or just getting our own way, and instead we seek to enable or empower others to help them succeed, it just opens up more fulfilling possibilities for everyone involved, including ourselves.
So the joy isn't just doubled, it's more than that.
I think so. It's often exponentially magnified. Think about the shared success, the stronger connection, the collective achievement. It becomes less about individual glory and more about the team's success, which ultimately feels richer, I think. It's a profound lesson in interdependence.
It really makes you pause and consider how this applies way beyond just sports.
Everywhere, really.
Everywhere. Think about it in your own life. When you invest your energy in helping others succeed, maybe it's a friend struggling with homework, maybe it's a colleague you collaborate with on a tricky project, maybe it's even just sharing your lunch or offering a listening ear.
Those small acts of service.
Right, the positive impact, the satisfaction,
Mhm.
it's not just shared, it's often magnified. Both people feel good, the bond gets stronger, and often the overall result is actually better than if you just focus on yourself.
It fundamentally shifts the dynamic, doesn't it? From that zero-sum game mentality, for me to win, you have to lose.
Yeah, which is so prevalent.
It is. It shifts it to a positive-sum game where everyone can actually gain something. Win-win.
Okay, so that's the collaborative angle.
Yeah.
Now, expanding on this crucial idea of influence over force, our deep dive brings us to some really profound insights from Leo Tolstoy and Victor Consideron. These come from the Calendar of Wisdom source,
Ah, Tolstoy. Always insightful.
isn't he? Tolstoy tells us first that violence is harmful because it is usually dressed in wealth, and it therefore arouses some respect for those things which should arouse disgust. That's a powerful statement right there.
It really is the deceptive packaging of violence or coercion.
And then critically, he has this incredibly insightful observation. People who have power are sure that it is only violence that guides people. The stick approach. But the existing order is not based on violence, but on public opinion.
Wow. So not force, but collective belief or agreement holds things together.
That's what he's arguing. And then Considerant reinforces this. He states, a person is not created either to subdue others or to follow the orders of others. People are corrupted by both ways of behavior.
Both dominating and being dominated are harmful.
Yes, he says. In the first, they assume too much importance. In the second, too little respect. In both ways, there's very little dignity.
That's incredibly insightful. What these statements do, really, is systematically dismantle our conventional, often superficial understanding of power and strength.
How do you mean?
Well, they argue that lasting change, effective governance, whether we're talking about a whole society, a small team at work, or even just a personal relationship, it's not achieved through coercion, through domination, through brute force,
Yeah.
which often relies on those superficial displays of wealth or status that Tolstoy mentioned.
Things that look impressive but lack substance.
Exactly. Instead, real, sustainable order and progress are built upon far more enduring foundations. Influence, persuasion, a genuine understanding of collective sentiment, what Tolstoy calls public opinion. Shared values, shared understanding.
So violence might look strong, but it's actually weak.
In the long run, yes. Violence, despite its outward show of might, ultimately diminishes dignity, both for the perpetrator and the victim, as Considerant points out. It erodes trust, it prevents genuine, lasting connection, it might achieve short-term compliance, maybe through fear.
Yeah, people might obey, but resentfully.
Precisely. But it never fosters true commitment or earned respect. So if we zoom out and think about the broader implications, these insights suggest that real sustainable power stems from earned respect, shared understanding, the ability to inspire, the ability to lead by example, not from imposed will or fear.
And that translates everywhere.
Absolutely. It translates directly into every aspect of our lives. How we lead at work, how we build strong friendships and families, how social movements gain real traction and create lasting change. It really forces us to ask ourselves, doesn't it? In our interactions, are we trying to force our will onto others, or are we diligently, patiently cultivating genuine influence and understanding?
That's a heavy question. And this philosophical grounding, this idea of influence over force, leads us perfectly to Gary Vaynerchuk. Much more modern voice, but saying something similar, right?
Absolutely. With his characteristic bluntness, but also profound insight, he just says it. The soft skills are the hard skills. Right. And it connects so directly to Tolstoy's insights about influence and the dangers of force, because the abilities to genuinely influence others, to collaborate effectively, to empathize, to communicate clearly and respectfully, to really listen.
All those things we often call soft skills.
Exactly. The things we sometimes categorize almost dismissively as soft. But paradoxically, as Vaynerchuk so powerfully points out, these are often the most challenging skills to truly develop, to master, and crucially, to apply consistently, especially under pressure.
Why are they so hard then?
Because they demand a deep level of inner mastery. They require self-awareness, managing our own ego, our biases, our emotional reactivity. You can't fake empathy for long. You can't truly collaborate if you're only focused on yourself. That's why they are hard. They require constant internal calibration and effort. They're the skills that build bridges.
It's a brilliant contrast to keep in mind. Think about, like, the nicest teacher you ever had.
Mm-hmm.
They probably commanded immense respect, right? But not by yelling or being aggressive. They did it through their consistent kindness, their fairness, their calm demeanor, their genuine care. That is authentic, robust strength.
Real strength.
Now, contrast that with someone who's always bragging, always pushing people around, trying to dominate every conversation. They might seem tough or powerful on the surface.
But often that bravado is just masking something else.
Exactly. It's often masking an underlying insecurity, a lack of self-control, maybe even a deep-seated fear. The soft skills aren't weak at all. They are the truly robust, sustainable ones that build connections, build trust, build things that last. They don't build walls.
Well said.
And then finally, really grounding this whole bridge from self to service, we have some powerful Buddhist wisdom in the mix. It offers this deep ethical framework for it all.
Yes, the ethical dimension is key.
It says, "He who depends on violence behaves wrongly. The maker of beautiful speeches is not wise. Only he who is free from hatred and fear is truly wise."
Wisdom isn't about eloquence, but inner freedom.
Right. And further, all violence is contrary to love. Do not participate in violence.
This profound wisdom really reinforces that idea we touched on earlier. Inner peace, freedom from internal turbulence specifically, freedom from hatred and fear. These aren't just, desirable states of mind for our own comfort.
No more than that.
They are essential prerequisites for true wisdom and for effective, compassionate engagement with the world. They provide the ethical bedrock for that whole soft skills approach. It's incredibly difficult, maybe impossible, to genuinely influence, serve, or lead with integrity if your own internal landscape is dominated by destructive emotions like hatred or fear.
You can't give what you don't have inside.
Exactly. True wisdom, in this view, isn't about clever rhetoric or intellectual brilliance or making beautiful speeches. It's about inner liberation. Liberation from the very forces, fear, hatred, greed, that compel us toward harmful actions against ourselves and others.
So the implication for you, listening right now, is this profound, maybe even lifelong challenge, isn't it?
It certainly is.
It's the challenge to cultivate that, stillness, that compassion that allows you to remain calm and kind, to seek understanding and resolution, even when you're confronted with wrongdoing or difficult people or really challenging circumstances.
It's about consciously choosing wisdom and compassion over knee-jerk reactivity and retaliation.
And recognizing the immense power that lies in that internal choice. So this bridge, moving from internal clarity and peace toward external service and influence, it now lays the groundwork for the next crucial step.
Which is?
Purposeful, authentic, and truly effective action in the world.
Okay, let's get into the action part.
Right. Which brings us directly to our third section, the action imperative, movement over meditation.
So it's not just about sitting peacefully.
Definitely not. The core concept here is that inner mastery isn't some passive, tranquil state you just achieve and then, recline on a velvet cushion for the rest of your life.
Wouldn't that be nice, though?
Maybe for a day. But no, the sources make it clear. It's an active, ongoing process. It absolutely requires consistent effort. It requires the initiation of action, and it requires practical, tangible steps in the real world. It's about bringing that inner clarity outward.
Making it manifest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And David J. Schwartz, in his wonderfully direct, no-nonsense style, captures this perfectly with his quote. He says, "People who get things done in this world don't wait for the spirit to move them. They move the spirit."
Well, I love that. They move the spirit. It's such a powerful counter to a very common human tendency, isn't it?
Which one?
That inclination to wait. Wait for motivation to strike like lightning. Wait for inspiration to descend from the heavens. Wait for the perfect feeling before we actually start doing something.
I'll do it when I feel like it, which often means never.
Exactly. Schwartz completely flips that traditional script. He emphasizes the immense power of initiation, of proactive effort. He highlights the understanding, which is backed by a lot of psychology too, that quite often the act of starting is precisely what generates the motivation and the inspiration we were passively waiting for.
So action precedes feeling sometimes.
Often, it debunks the myth that you need to feel ready or perfectly aligned or totally inspired before you can do something. Sometimes, you just need to begin. It resonates strongly with concepts like behavioral activation in therapy, where engaging in positive action, even small ones, can break inertia and actually improve your mood and motivation, regardless of how you felt initially.
So what does this really mean for you, for the listener, in your everyday life? It means sometimes you simply have to move your body before your feelings catch up, as our source cleverly puts it.
Get the limbs moving first.
Right. The sheer act of beginning something, even a tiny part of it, can create its own momentum. It can fundamentally shift your internal state from inertia to engagement. If you wait until you feel like tackling that messy room, or starting that big project, or having that difficult conversation you've been dreading.
It might just never happen. The feeling might never arrive.
Exactly. But if you just start, if you just say, okay, I'll put away 5 things in this messy room, or I'll write just the first sentence of that email, you might find yourself, surprisingly, wanting to keep going. You build this self-reinforcing loop of action and motivation. The movement creates the spirit.
It breaks the spell of procrastination.
It does. And speaking of starting, especially when you're faced with those really big, daunting tasks, Mark Twain offers an incredibly practical and timeless framework for overcoming that feeling of overwhelm.
Ah, Twain. Always good for practical wisdom.
Isn't he? He famously said, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started." Okay, simple enough. But then he adds the crucial part. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into manageable tasks, and then starting on the first one.
Ah, the breakdown. That's where the magic is. This is where that internal resolve we've been talking about meets actual external results. It offers a tangible bridge from just intending to do something to actually doing it.
It's practical.
Very practical. Because Twain doesn't just offer the platitude "gets started," which, let's face it, can still feel paralyzing when you're looking at a mountain of a task.
Right. Get started. How?
Exactly. Instead, he provides a concrete, actionable strategy. It's about demystifying those huge, intimidating objectives. It's about effectively overcoming the paralysis that so often accompanies overwhelm. It's basically an exercise in strategic simplification.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How often do we avoid or procrastinate on big, important things simply because we haven't taken that crucial step of breaking them down?
We see them as one giant, insurmountable blob. Right. And so we never start. But this wisdom empowers us to translate our inner intentions into tangible, achievable actions, one small, sequential step at a time.
It's so true, and it applies absolutely everywhere. Think about that book report example again from the source material.
Okay. Instead of the internal monologue being, oh no, a whole book report, this is huge, where do I even begin? Which just feels enormous and abstract and leads to paralysis.
You immediately break it down using Twain's logic.
Right. You say, okay,
Yeah.
Step 1. Read one chapter, manageable. Step 2, write down 3 key notes from that chapter, also manageable. Step 3, draft just one introductory paragraph. Suddenly, that overwhelming mountain of a task
Transforms into a series of achievable molehills.
Exactly. And each small step you complete builds confidence, it builds momentum, making the seemingly impossible feel not only possible, but actually quite manageable. You gain traction.
The power of chunking it down. Absolutely. Now, this emphasis on active engagement, on being an initiator rather than just a passive receiver, it connects beautifully with Socrates' profound insight about education.
Which was?
Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel.
That's a classic. And when we explore that further, Socrates is telling us something really important about learning and growth.
What's the core message?
That true learning, true growth, isn't about passively absorbing information like you're an empty cup just waiting for someone else to pour knowledge into you.
Like downloading data.
Right. Instead, it's about actively igniting our own innate curiosity. It's about fostering critical thinking. It's about encouraging deep, personal participation in the whole process of discovery. We aren't just recipients of knowledge, we have to be the ones to light our own intellectual fires.
And then tend them.
And then diligently tend those flames through ongoing engagement, asking questions, exploring, experimenting. This principle extends far beyond just formal schooling, doesn't it? It applies to all aspects of personal and professional growth. It's about being an active architect of your own understanding, not just a passive collector of facts someone else gives you.
So the implication for you, the listener, is this powerful encouragement towards adopting a really dynamic, profoundly curious approach to your whole life, to all learning.
Be an active participant.
Be an active participant in your own growth story. Eagerly seek out new understanding, embrace challenges, ask questions rather than merely consuming information passively or just waiting to be taught or told what to think. It fundamentally shifts the burden, or maybe the opportunity, of enlightenment from some external source onto your own internal drive.
Taking ownership of your growth.
Exactly. And finally, to really cap off this whole section on action, we have this profound passage from the sources. And it might initially seem to contradict some of the earlier emphasis we placed on inner peace, but actually, I think it completes the architecture of inner mastery.
Okay, what does it say?
It says, work, 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 forever and ever. The amount of hours to mastery does not matter. There is no end zone. To get where we want to go is not about brilliance, but continual effort. It is all within reach for all of us, provided we have the constitution and humbleness to be patient and the fortitude to put in the work.
Wow, that's quite a statement. No end zone, continual effort.
It sounds intense, right? Maybe even grinding.
A little, but what's deeply compelling about this perspective when you read it closely in context with everything else is how it doesn't actually contradict the inner work, it completes it, it integrates with it.
How so? It sounds very outward focused.
Well, it's not talking about frantic, ego-driven striving, like burning yourself out just to prove something. It's about cultivating those deep-seated internal qualities we've already discussed. Immense patience, genuine humility, unwavering fortitude. The very qualities that enable consistent, sustained effort over the long haul.
Ah, so the inner state fuels the outer work.
Precisely. Mastery, as it's presented here, isn't a singular destination you reach through some innate brilliance or sudden flash of genius. It's a continuous practice. It's an infinite journey of just showing up day after day, learning from the inevitable setbacks, staying humble in the face of the ongoing work required.
So it's inner mastery in action.
Yes, it's the sustained conscious application of that internal strength, that inner wisdom, moment by moment, year after year. It's discipline born from inner clarity, not forced compliance.
So what does this all mean for you listening? This powerful passage, I think, offers this profound reassurance that genuine achievement, real growth, true mastery in anything, it's absolutely within reach for anyone. Anyone willing to commit to that continual effort and cultivate the necessary patience and humility. It doesn't depend on perceived natural talent or initial advantages or even avoiding past failures.
It democratizes success in a way.
It really does. It makes it accessible not through luck or inherent genius, but through dedication, persistence, and that inner fortitude. So this blend, this integration of inward focus and outward sustained action, it now brings us to a crucial and often surprising paradox that's woven throughout this entire collection of wisdom.
Okay, what's the paradox?
It's about where true strength really resides, and this leads us right into our fourth section, the paradox of soft strength and living the architecture.
Soft strength, I like that.
Doesn't it resonate? What emerges as this beautiful, consistent thread running through all these diverse sources, from ancient emperors to modern entrepreneurs to spiritual sages, is this profound kind of counterintuitive paradox. That true, enduring strength often appears gentle. It looks unassuming. It might even seem soft in its outward manifestation. While apparent strength, that aggressive posture, the dominance, the overt display of wealth or power frequently masks an underlying weakness or deep insecurity or maybe just a really misguided set of values.
The appearance versus the reality of strength.
Exactly. Let's revisit Tolstoy's really searing point from the Calendar of Wisdom again. He observed that violence or coercion is usually dressed in wealth, and it therefore arouses some respect for those things which should arouse disgust.
That's such an incisive observation. Tolstoy is highlighting how easily these superficial displays of power or material success can mislead us. They can actually condition us socially to mistakenly respect or even admire behaviors and systems that, if we look deeper, should really elicit a profound sense of disgust.
Why discussed?
Because they're often built on force, on coercion, exploitation, or the suppression of human dignity. It's power derived from diminishing others. That's the wealth that dresses it up.
Okay, so that's the false strength. What's the contrast?
In stark contrast, the quiet, sustained influence that comes from genuine wisdom, from patient collaboration, from empathetic understanding, the truly powerful approach we've been discussing it, often seems unremarkable from the outside.
That'll make a lot of noise.
Exactly. It doesn't draw attention with flashy displays or boastful pronouncements, but it builds things that are resilient, sustainable, enduring. It's the difference maybe between a loud, destructive crash and the quiet, persistent, life-giving growth of a strong tree.
That's a powerful image. And Gary Vaynerchuk's insight, the soft skills of the hard skills, just captures this paradox perfectly again, doesn't it? Like a modern echo of Tolstoy.
It really does, and it's absolutely crucial to emphasize why they're hard. These qualities, emotional intelligence, empathy, active listening, patience, the ability to foster genuine connection, things often mistakenly dismissed as just nice-to-haves or soft skills.
Especially in like business context sometimes.
Right. They are, in fact, the most challenging to truly develop and master consistently. Why? Because they demand constant, vigilant internal work. They demand the kind of continuous self-examination and redirection of our impulses and responses that Marcus Aurelius was talking about way back at the beginning.
It's inner work manifesting outwardly.
Precisely. They require us to actively manage our own ego, our biases, our fears, our impatience, rather than just trying to force external compliance from others through power or manipulation. This is exactly why they are hard. They demand profound self-mastery. They represent true, deep-seated strength that can navigate complexity, build lasting relationships, foster trust, not just achieve fleeting transactions or temporary dominance.
They build bridges, not walls.
Exactly. They build bridges.
Okay, now building on this idea of clarity, focus, maybe stripping away the unnecessary, our sources introduce this wonderfully concise phrase, maximize your minimalism.
I like the sound of that. What does it mean in this context?
Well, what's compelling about it is how it connects directly to mental and emotional clarity. It echoes those earlier ideas we heard from Tony Robbins about choosing your focus, and from Thoreau about seeing things with clear-eyed realism.
Okay, so minimalism is a mental tool.
Exactly. Just like an uncluttered physical space, a clean desk, a tidy room allows for better function, reduces distraction, fosters a sense of calm.
Mental and emotional minimalism does the same for our inner world.
Right. It allows us to strip away the unnecessary noise, the endless distractions, the complexities that can dilute our efforts and obscure what truly matters. It's about intentionality. It's about focusing our precious energy and attention on the essentials, creating space for what's truly important, and consciously eliminating the extraneous stuff that just drains us.
It's a kind of strategic reduction to amplify impact and peace.
Totally. Think about it practically. Your backpack works so much better when it's not stuffed with junk you don't need, right? You can find things, it's lighter, it serves its purpose efficiently. Your room is more enjoyable, more productive when it's tidy, and you can actually find your stuff and move around.
Physical clutter mirrors mental clutter often.
It really does. And in relationships, maximizing your minimalism might mean consciously choosing to focus on really caring for and investing in a few people deeply and authentically, rather than spreading yourself thin, trying to superficially know hundreds.
Quality over quantity, depth over breadth.
Exactly. It's about cultivating profound clarity over overwhelming clutter. It's a strategic choice you can make for greater effectiveness, greater connection, and ultimately greater peace.
Makes sense.
Now, for something completely different, but weirdly connected, some unexpected, delightfully humorous wisdom, we turn to the legendary comedian Phyllis Diller.
Phyllis Diller. Okay, where does she fit in?
She quipped, and it's quoted in the source, "Always be nice to your children because they are the ones who will choose your rest home."
Ah, that's brilliant and surprisingly profound.
Isn't it? What's truly delightful and insightful here is the unexpected depth hidden in that humorous observation. While it's delivered as a joke, it cleverly highlights the very real, long-term, often unseen consequences of our soft skills, or perhaps our lack of them.
Especially in our most important relationships.
Exactly. The patience, the kindness, the loving engagement we invest today, They don't just yield immediate results. They create this ripple effect that extends far, far into the future. They fundamentally impact the quality of our connections, our support systems, and yeah, maybe even our literal well-being years down the line.
It's a powerful, if lighthearted, reminder that how we treat people isn't just about the immediate interaction or getting what we want now.
No, it's about diligently sowing seeds, planting seeds for a richer, more connected, more supportive future. For everyone involved, including ourselves.
The long game of relationships.
The very long game. So the implication for you listening is crystal clear and maybe, yeah, a little chilling if you don't take it somewhat seriously. The way you treat people today, with kindness, fairness, patience, understanding you are actively planting seeds for the quality of your relationships and the strength of your support systems years, even decades down the line. It's an ongoing, crucial investment.
Not just in their well-being, but in your own future reality.
Absolutely. And then, as a kind of capstone insight for living this entire architecture of inner mastery, Confucius offers this truly profound and timeless statement. Wherever you go, go with all your heart.
Simple words, but incredibly deep. What does that really mean, to go with all your heart?
I think this powerful call to presence, it means bringing your full, undivided engagement, your authentic attention, your genuine presence to every single task, every interaction, every experience that life puts in front of you.
It's the opposite of being distracted or half present.
Totally. And the sources suggest it's the natural, beautiful outflow of inner mastery. When we're no longer constantly fighting those internal battles we talked about, when we're no longer distracted by desperately chasing external validation or approval, when we're no longer pursuing fleeting superficial desires, what happens?
We free up energy.
We free ourselves. We free ourselves to give ourselves completely, authentically, wholeheartedly to whatever is right in front of us. It implies this sense of wholeness, integrity, and profound focus in every action. It makes even the mundane feel, well, maybe not sacred exactly, but certainly more meaningful.
So what does this mean for you, the listener? It's about consciously choosing to be all there, present, engaged, versus being, half asleep or mind wandering through your precious days.
We all know those moments, right? When you're physically present somewhere, maybe in a meeting, maybe talking to a loved one, but your mind is a million miles away, worrying about the past, anxious about the future, maybe just scrolling through your phone under the table.
Fragmented attention.
Exactly. Confucius is urging us to overcome that fragmentation. Because when you truly give your whole heart to whatever you're doing, whether it's intently listening to a friend share their struggles, diligently working on a project that matters, or even just simply savoring the taste of a meal without distraction, everything changes.
How so?
Everything becomes more interesting, more meaningful, more vivid, and ultimately much more enjoyable and satisfying. It's a call to profound engagement with your own life, moment by moment. And all these profound interconnected principles gathered from such incredibly diverse sources, they really do form this remarkably coherent and timeless blueprint for living well.
A complete architecture.
And this brings us right to our final section, the timeless blueprint, your inner strength training.
Tying it all together.
Exactly. What this September 14th collection ultimately reveals is this incredibly coherent and, I think, eminently accessible blueprint for human flourishing. It really does transcend cultural boundaries, temporal boundaries. It offers practical, actionable lessons for building authentic, resilient inner strength. It's like a framework you can start applying literally today.
A practical toolkit.
Precisely. So let's just recap the key pillars that have emerged from this whole deep dive. Let's frame them as like essential components of your personal inner strength training program. Okay.
Let's do it. Pillar 1.
First, and this is fundamental, control your own thoughts and feelings. This means intentionally focusing on your internal responses, your choices, rather than getting caught up in fruitlessly trying to manipulate external circumstances. That's the powerful lesson from Marcus Aurelius.
Got it. Focus inward. Pillar 2.
Second, help others succeed. Make that conscious choice for collaboration, for influence, over just competition and force. That's the wisdom we glean from Horst Wein, from Tolstoy, from the Buddhist teachings.
The power of the assist. Okay, third.
Third, be genuinely strong. This means embracing kindness, calmness, empathy as the true, robust expressions of power. Because, as Gary Vaynerchuk revealed, those often dismissed soft skills are in fact the truly hard skills to master.
Real strength isn't aggression.
Yeah.
Got it. Fourth.
Fourth, keep things simple. Intentionally maximize your minimalism. Declutter your mind, your environment, your focus. Direct your energy toward what truly matters. Cut out the noise.
Focus on the essential. Fifth pillar.
Fifth, start small and keep going. Remember Mark Twain. Break down those seemingly overwhelming tasks into manageable steps, and then crucially, initiate action. Cultivate that consistent, sustained effort that Dave J. Schwartz championed. Don't wait for the spirit, move the spirit.
Action creates momentum. Number 6.
Sixth, treat people well. Really understand and internalize the long-term, often unseen impact of your relationships. Remember Phyllis Diller's humorous but wise warning about rest homes. It's about sowing good seeds.
The long game of kindness. 7th.
Seventh, see problems clearly but respond with kindness. Cultivate the courage Thoreau spoke of, to acknowledge difficult truths, the disgusting things, but do it without reactivity, without emotional overwhelm. Respond with the wisdom and compassion the Buddhist texts advocate.
Clear eyes, calm heart.
Okay, eighth, give your whole heart to whatever you're doing. Bring your full presence, your authentic engagement to every moment, every task, every interaction. That profound call to presence from Confucius. Be all there.
Full engagement.
And the last one, number 9.
And finally, number 9. Practice and be patient with yourself. Always, always remember that mastery in anything, including inner mastery itself, is a continuous journey. It's a persistent practice. It's not about flashes of brilliance or reaching some magical, static destination. Remember that work passage. It's about the continual effort, humility, and patience.
The journey is the destination, in a sense.
Exactly. Now, what's truly powerful about this architecture, this 9-pillar blueprint for inner strength, is its remarkable accessibility. The source material really reiterates this point. What does it say about accessibility?
It says this profound framework doesn't require special talents, privileged circumstances, or extraordinary resources. You don't need to be rich or famous or lucky.
So what does it require?
It fundamentally requires only one thing, really. The willingness to see clearly what exists in our lives, including the disgusting things, and then to respond with wisdom rather than mere reactivity.
That insight's key, isn't it? That clarity itself is profoundly transformative. You don't need to change the whole world first to start building this inner architecture.
Not at all. You just need to change how you see and how you choose to respond to the world that's already here, both inside and out. This architecture, this truly resilient internal structure, it's not built through grand, instantaneous gestures or overnight transformations.
How is it built then?
It's built, as the source says, one stone at a time, with patience, humility, and heart. Slowly, deliberately, consistently.
Brick by brick.
Exactly. And here's the really exciting part, the truly transformative power of actually embracing these principles of doing this inner strength training as you genuinely get really good at being strong on the inside.
As you practice these pillars.
Yes. As you diligently work on controlling your own thoughts, helping others, being genuinely strong, keeping it simple, taking action, treating people well, seeing clearly, giving your whole heart, and being patient. Everything else in your life truly starts working better. It's almost like a side effect.
How so? What starts working better?
You'll find yourself building deeper, more authentic friendships. You'll learn things faster, more effectively because your focus is clear. You'll feel genuinely happier, more content, more resilient in the face of challenges. And almost without trying, you organically become the kind of person others naturally want to be around. The kind of person people want to collaborate with, trust, rely on.
It's a complete internal and external upgrade, a positive ripple effect that elevates every aspect of your existence.
It truly is. So as a call to action for you listening right now, we really encourage you. Reflect on these 9 pillars. Think about them. And then just pick one. Just one aspect of this inner strength training that resonates most deeply with you today. Or maybe pick the one that addresses a specific challenge you're facing right now.
Don't try to do everything at once.
Absolutely not. You don't have to be perfect immediately. You certainly don't have to master all 9 pillars by tomorrow morning. Just choose one. Commit to it. Give it a sincere try. And remember that profound wisdom about getting started. You just have to begin. And then keep going, one small intentional step at a time.
That truly is the secret. Start small, be consistent.
Exactly. We've navigated ancient journals, deep philosophical texts, cutting-edge modern advice, and it all seems to converge on this powerful, undeniable truth. The architecture for a flourishing, resilient life is built meticulously from the inside out.
It's an inside job.
It's an inside job. This deep dive, we hope, has offered you a curated map, a kind of timeless blueprint to accessing that inner strength and living a more effective, more meaningful life.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Building on Thoreau's powerful insight about the necessity of seeing those disgusting things clearly, and Marcus Aurelius's radical suggestion to reframe our desires away from the external.
Okay.
What is one uncomfortable truth, maybe, or perhaps a persistent desire, a wanting for something external in your own life right now, something you've been subtly avoiding looking at or actively wishing would just go away?
We all have those, don't we?
We all do. What might profoundly happen if you simply acknowledged it, just for a moment? Acknowledged it with profound, honest clarity, without immediate judgment, without the pressure to instantly fix it or make it disappear.
Just see it.
Just see it. And then what if you consciously chose just one principle from this architecture of inner mastery we've explored today? Maybe it's the one about controlling your internal response, or the call to give your whole heart even to this difficult feeling, or the commitment to patience, and use that principle to guide your approach to that specific thing.
Focusing the principle on the problem.
Yes. How might that subtle yet potentially powerful internal shift, how might that begin to fundamentally transform your entire experience of that issue and maybe ripple outwards starting today? Something to ponder.
Definitely something to ponder. Thank you for diving up with us today.